the federal government is waving the white flag and surrendering on tariffs. It's not saying so publicly, with an expectation, though, that we won't be getting any breaks or extra breaks from the Trump administration. Joining us live now is the independent analyst, Evan Lucas. So good to see you, Evan. If there's no change, what does that mean? And how will it affect us?
Yeah, I think more it's, again, we are now waiting for what happens on July 9. It probably looks like it'll be even July 5 that he'll announce what that is. Yes, we are going to get the 10%. I think the bigger one that we've been discussing is the steel and aluminium tariffs. They are the ones that are still sitting at 25%. There is a threat of them going to 50%. That's $698 million of exports a year to the US that will see a 50% increase if we get that put on us as well. I think the bigger question also, though, is what we are seeing now around the region. Japan is the one I'm really worried about. We forget they are our third largest export nation, and a lot of our exports are similar to China in the fact that they are normally bulk commodities of some description where they manufacture and then send in. Japan is really worried. They are facing between 20 and 30%, something similar to what China is, and that's an indirect impact for us, and that's a much bigger problem in terms of where we sit. So it's not about the direct tariffs that we have and the 10% movement that we are clearly going to get like the rest of the world. It's our indirect exports that I'm worried about and where that sits. And that, I think, is where, at the moment, if you look at a BHP, you look at a Rio Tinto, you look at our overall, particularly bulk commodities industry, it is slowing. China is doing stuff internally, but overall, that has the tariff implication wrapped inside it.
Let's go to the RBA, and perhaps this will be a factor for the RBA to consider next week as well, Evan, likely actually. If there is a rate cut next week, and some are suggesting could even be a double rate cut, I don't think so, but will it be completely passed through to the customers?
So that is the question that now needs to be discussed, is bank earnings season that we saw at the end of May, very, very start of June. If you look at some of the banks that were here, they have got some of the lowest margins they've had on record, which is, from a customer perspective, actually not a bad thing. The competition is up, that they are offering as sharper prices as they can. There will come a point where they will stop passing through the full rate cut. So let's say
there would be uproar.
There will be. It happened last time. So this is the thing. 70 out of the 143, 146 financial services institutions in Australia didn't pass through the full amount. The reason it doesn't make the headlines is because it's not the big four. The question really is when do they do it?
Yeah,
and is it the one that's coming up next week, or is it the one in August? The one, and again, I don't normally like sort of putting a finger on it, but the one with the lowest margin is the one to watch, and that tends to be ANZ at the moment.
Yeah.
Do they break trend with what will probably still be a 25 basis points from the other three and start to talk about protecting margins?
It's a good debate, that. But when you're looking at the Commonwealth Bank at the moment and its share price, I mean, if it didn't
so
pass
CommBank's different, right?
Yeah.
So CommBank has the highest margin. So its net interest margins are currently about 1.8 to 1.85. If you look at ANZ, it's sitting at 1.56 to 1.6%.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
And that is what the new debate will be, is that, yep, we might get rate cuts from the RBA. Doesn't mean we get the full amount if we're a mortgage holder.
Interesting. Now, that is a good debate. Thank you, Evan. We'll chat to you again soon.